Welcome to the Airgun Show. This week I'm taking a look at the Weihrauch HW98 in its new grey laminate guise. But first up, I'm heading out on what turns out to be an extremely productive night on the rats. I'm on track for a great night on the rats. There are lots about. I'm just half an hour into the session and it's already time to reload the magazine. Right, well, as you can no doubt see, I'm out on the farm tonight targeting rats, and so far it's going pretty well. I've been shooting for about an hour and I must have shot 10 or 11 rats now. I've set up in the barn here, and the area that I'm targeting is, well, certainly the area where I'm getting the most action, is a wall that's dividing between a calf shed and this feed store. And there are a lot of rats passing through a gap. Now, shots are a little bit tricky because as they come through, they're behind a grill, but I'm managing to thread shots through, and as you've seen, I'm bagging a few. Right, I'm actually trying out a different gun tonight. It's the Weihrauch RM8UC, which I actually reviewed last year, and so far it's faring ever so well. It's a tough little gun, so it's certainly great for this sort of ratting around farm buildings. And being that it's often done in quite confined spaces, the fact that it is a fairly compact gun means it really lends itself well to that. Now, The rats here are pretty bold, but I still don't want to talk too much, so I'm going to get back to it. As I've pointed out before, I'm sniping these rats from the cover of total darkness. The glow from the site's infrared illuminator is only visible because we're using a night vision camera. Right, I heard a bit of a commotion then. Swung around. Saw that there were quite a few rats moving under that mower. Managed to bag a couple. The third one started off, but I've no doubt that there are going to be others around that zone, so it's an area worth keeping an eye on, not just the wall where I have been bagging them. That's 3 more rats from under the mower. All of them taken with really nice clean headshots. They certainly like it under there. I'm shooting from the support of my trigger stick tripod, which brings a huge boost to accuracy. There really is no excuse for failing to achieve precise pellet placement with this setup. Right, it's gone a little bit quiet around the area that was giving me all of the action earlier on, but I'm starting to see a few rats moving around the pallet now, and it's no great surprise as there are a few feed sacks there. Now, one thing you've probably noticed that I haven't gone to the trouble of putting out my usual bait spots to keep rats still. Now, that's for a couple of reasons. Firstly, there's just so much feed around here that it probably wouldn't stop them anyway. And secondly, there are just so many rats that I'm still getting plenty of opportunities. Well, I'm sorry to say that that's going to have to be the last rat of the night. We're supposed to be off this farm by midnight. It's gone 11:30 now, and I've got a heck of a lot of rats to pick up. But it's been a great session. We've been in position for probably a couple of hours, and I must have shot between 25 and 30 rats. It has been a brilliant first outing on the rats for the RM8 UC, and it's really risen to the occasion and performed brilliantly. Now, the action hasn't really dipped too much as the night's gone on, so I am in no doubt that there are plenty more rats to be had here, and I'm going to be back for another go at them very soon. A busy couple of hours on the rats there. Next up, I'm taking a look at the Weihrauch HW98 in its new grey laminate stock.
Check out the great subscription deals for print and digital versions of Airgun Shooter magazine. You won't miss a single issue, even if you can't get to the shops.
Spring-powered airguns often get overlooked these days, but if you opt for a good one, they can outshoot a lot of PCPs. Now this is a very fine break barrel springer. It's the Weihrauch HW98 in its new grey laminate guise. Distributed in the UK by Hull Cartridge, it has a recommended retail price of £640. Now, that is not cheap for a break barrel, but this is one of the best, and of course it doesn't come with the added expense and hassle of charging gear. The big update on this gun is the grey laminate stock, which looks fantastic and brings it bang up to date. Apart from giving the gun's aesthetics a real boost, it is also very functional. Correct gun fit can make a huge difference when it comes to shooting accurately. This ambidextrous stock can be tweaked to properly fit you by means of its height adjustable butt pad and cheek piece. The styling of the stock bridges the gap between sporter and target and still manages to look elegant despite that adjustability. The pistol grip is nice and steep and features really sharp, grippy stippling all the way around. The same stippling is also present on the underside of the fairly long forend, which also features some neat looking fake vents that also enhance grip. This is an adult sized airgun. It's 104 centimetres before you fit a silencer, and length of pull is about 35 centimetres. Now it tips the scales at just a shade under 3.7 kilos before you fit a scope. Now that might sound pretty heavy, but I like a bit of weight in a spring gun because it helps to soak up any recoil. Now, the weight is probably a little bit further forwards than it is on most break barrels, but I really like that. Overall balance is great and it just feels like a really nice gun to shoot. Build quality is excellent and this airgun feels to be extremely well made. I really like the black finish of the metalwork, and the engineering looks absolutely flawless, something that I've come to expect from Weihrauch. Now, there are no open sights on this gun. Its accuracy more than justifies a set of tellies, and the cylinder is machined with dovetail rails that also incorporate holes to accept an arrestor pin. Those rails are nice and long and should accommodate most telescopic sights. The barrel features a shroud that makes for a chunky bull barrel appearance. Now the end section actually incorporates a very discreet muzzle weight which can screw off to reveal a thread to accept a silencer. This gun actually comes supplied with a Weihrauch silencer which is nicely fitted to the barrel and also really assists with sound suppression. Now fitting that silencer increases overall length by 10 centimetres. The 177 caliber test gun is producing a punchy 11.6 foot-pounds with an impressive shot-to-shot variation of just 9 feet per second over a string of 10 shots, which is very good for a spring gun.
Now, considering that it's churning out pretty much full UK power, it is very smooth to cock and requires surprisingly little effort. Typical of a break barrel Springer, pellets are loaded direct to the breech. The barrel then snaps back into place into what feels like an extremely secure lockup. Weihrauch's recoiled trigger requires no introduction. It's been setting the standard by which other mechanical triggers are judged for decades. The two-stage adjustable unit on this gun was brilliant straight out of the box. Blade design is spot on. First stage weight and travel are just about perfect, and the second stage brake is remarkably crisp. Cocking the gun engages the auto safety catch, which is positioned at the rear of the cylinder. You can even re-engage it after pushing it off simply by drawing the barrel back down. Now, to push that safety catch off, you simply nudge it across from left to right. It makes a bit of a click, but I really don't think it's loud enough to be a problem for hunters. I think that just about covers all of the main features of the Weihrauch HW98 Grey Laminate. As ever, let's put a target out and I'll show you how it shoots. Well, I'll take that from a break barrel Springer. We're very lucky today. There's barely a puff of wind. That's a 30 metre 5-shot group from the 177 caliber test gun. Now that target that I was aiming at is smaller than a pound coin. That's a ragged 1-hole group that would certainly fall within that sort of size, so really impressive. And it's also a heck of a lot more fun to shoot than a PCP. Of course, I'm shooting from the luxury of having the stability of a bench. You don't get that out in the field, but this is a pretty comfortable gun to shoot from most stances, and a lot of that is down to this adjustability. For a recoiling airgun, it's also very smooth. There's none of the reverberating twang, it's just a swift thud. What little recoil there is comes straight back into your shoulder. Add all those factors together with that trigger, and it is a pretty easy spring-powered airgun to shoot accurately. I've got an HW95 of my own, and this airgun is based on the same action, but I have to say that it feels far superior. Now, as I said at the start, it isn't cheap, but on the other hand, it isn't outrageously expensive when you consider that it's a high-quality break barrel Springer that's got the power and precision to tackle live quarry hunting or serious target shooting. If you want an air rifle that can rival a PCP in the accuracy stakes, but comes without the added hassle and expense of charging equipment, then give one of these a try. They should be in the shops by the end of September.
Look out for the new and improved Airgun Shooter magazine, packed full of technique, gear and insight from some of the best shooters in the industry. Brand new look and free video content. Pick up your copy today in stores or online.
That's all for this week, but as ever, we'll be back again in a fortnight. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you aren't already a member of the BASC, it's time you joined the organisation that works to promote and protect your sport.